appointments are coming pretty fast and pretty furious. First, the defense secretary is Pete Hegseth. If confirmed, he'll oversee more than 2 million active duty and reserve forces, 750,000 civilian employees, and a budget of nearly $850 billion. His current job is co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend.
Manderson Pooper last night demonstrating Democrat Party bitterness. They're very bitter. They're very bitter about everything. And they're attacking and undermining everyone. That's the role of our media. You know. Also, I should update, since in the mailbag we talked about White House press secretary, and I mentioned Alina Habba, an extremely talented young woman, an attorney, one of President Trump's attorneys, and she has been a spokesperson on television and so on for President Trump and the campaign, and she is, let me just say, articulate. I think she's can you say that a woman is articulate, or is that racist? Always unclear on those rules. Scott Jennings at CNN, and I was reminded also campaign spokeswoman, Trump campaign spokeswoman, Caroline Levitt, who's also very articulate, quite articulate. And from ESPN, a woman who has been outspoken in her political worldview, from ESPN, Sage Steele. Now, I've got to say that between Alina Habba, Caroline Levitt, and Sage Steele, we're talking about three very, very talented women, and I'll just leave it at that. Scott Jennings from CNN, he's the Republican guy on CNN, and he's very strong. He's very good at what he does as a spokes guy for the conservative perspective, the conservative point of view. Very good stuff. Man, oh, man. Sure. And I'm getting a lot of response from people, military people, and a lot of people. Not everybody's on the Pete Hegseth page, I've got to say. Some rumpin', stompin', pointy end of the spear guys who are saying, I'm sorry, why is he being picked, a guardsman? And I understand that, I do. But he has been an advocate for our troops, and, maybe he's got to be confirmed by the Congress, the Senate, and there will be a process, and the Democrats will be as hostile as possible because they're pigs. What kind of pigs, Mike? Fascist pigs? Communist pigs? What kind of pigs are they? We'll just leave it at pigs for now. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, and the current Secretary of Defense, you may recall, a federal law enforcement friend said, he's the Secretary of the entire Department of Defense, disappeared for what turned out was cancer treatments and didn't mention it to anybody. My friend said, I bet you if, Pete Hegseth gets cancer surgery, he won't hide it from the White House, which Lloyd Austin, our current Secretary of Defense, did. And honestly, what kind of secretary? A career Army officer, a 4-star general, Lloyd Austin. And I can't say that he's been a stellar Secretary of Defense by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a funny town, this town. This town. It's a use you town. All right, let's get to some audio because I haven't gotten to a lot of stuff. And there is always way too much stuff to get to. But the Democrats, they're looking to undermine the incoming administration. That means the news media as well, naturally. The Washington Post, the criminals, the crooks working for Dr. Evil down at the Washington Post. By the way, President Trump has left Capitol Hill after meeting with Republicans on Capitol Hill, where apparently good fun was had by all, and Trump was telling jokes, and everybody was laughing and having a good time with the Republicans on the Hill. What kind of business was done, I cannot speak to. But he has traveled by motorcade from Capitol Hill to the White House, and President Trump, without his wife, Melania, is now at the White House meeting Joe Biden in the Oval Office, and it might be a WWF slapdown. President Trump, I saw he walked in. He did have a folding chair in his hands, which you might throw at Biden or hit him over the head or something like that. He did not have a folding chair. I jest. But the Washington Post today with an opinion piece. What should Democrats do now? Form a shadow cabinet. This is the Washington Post recommending that the Democrats form a shadow government to oppose everything that the newly elected president wishes to do. And the news media, they're in on it with them. It's a conspiracy out in the light of day. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's right here, plain for all to see. And boy, let me tell you, the crowd of reporters at the White House. Normally you have a few bored people looking to carry water for the Democrat administration. It looks like there are hundreds of reporters at the White House waiting for Trump to come out and talk because he's interesting and Joe Biden is a cadaver. So the Washington Post, Democrats should form a shadow cabinet, a shadow government to oppose the people that just won the election. The venerable British institution of the opposition would serve America well today. But it wouldn't serve America well when Joe Biden was elected because the filth at the Washington Post, they're nothing but a front group for the left, the international left, and that's today's Democrat Party as well. Man, oh man. And CNN with their follow everybody else stuff. Democratic lawmaker who is proposing shadow cabinet to counter Trump explains how it could work. And they've got Democrat congressman from Congressman, hard to tell though, from North Carolina, Representative Wiley Nickel. He's got a funny name too. His name is Wiley Nickel. He went on CNN to discuss his proposal to form a shadow cabinet and explains how it works. They would be there to undermine the President of the United States and the duly elected government of the United States. They lost, so they want to destroy the world. That's how it would work. That's how that goes. Now let's go to the lunatics. Let's go to radical extremist, anti-American, racist, anti-Semite Democrat Congresswoman and squad member Pramila Jayapal. And she's talking about, Stephen Miller is coming into the Trump administration, Tom Homan as the border czar, because we want to secure our border, and that's what we voted for. The Democrats want to blow up the country and destroy the United States of America, fundamentally transforming it until it's unrecognizable. But Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, very upset about this, her panties in a twist.
Stephen Miller and Tom Homan were the architects of a lot of the first Trump administration horrific immigration policies. We're going to have to fight.
It's horrific. We're going to have to, it's fight, fight, fight. They're just going to fight. Now, if Republicans talk like this after Joe Biden was elected, or after, God forbid, Kamala Harris was like, we got Kamala and Pramila. You think they're related? And, the media would go bat guano on everyone. Oh, no, they're opposing democracy. They're a threat to democracy. I'd say Pramila Jayapal, who just wants to fight. Yeah, Stephen Miller and Tom Homan were architects of securing our border. Pramila Jayapal wants us to become a jihadi hellhole where civil war is the norm because she hates everyone in this country and she's not on our side. Just saying. Now, in Chicago, they have a mayor, and it's horrific. They're horrific policies. I mean, securing our border. There are a lot fewer murders of women in the United States by illegal aliens. One illegal alien rapist murderer on trial in Atlanta, Georgia today. And yesterday, the psychopathic rapist killer that Pramila Jayapal waved into the country. He said he doesn't want a jury. He just wants the judge to, and he's pled guilty. And he did it. And the Democrats want to let him go. You see, the Democrats are pushing Joe Biden to commute the death sentences of every federal prisoner on death row in the United States before he leaves because they love murderers, which means they love murder. That's a true story. Lefties are fighting to get Biden to commute the death sentences of every federal inmate sentenced to death, terrorism and murder. And Democrats say, oh, no, we can't do that. No, we need to let them murder and kill and be terrorists because they're not on the side of civilization. But Pramila Jayapal says Tom Homan and Stephen Miller, their policies were horrific. Their policies led to a lot less child sex trafficking, adult sex trafficking, drug trafficking, all kinds of human trafficking. Drug trafficking leading to more than 100,000 fatal drug overdoses in the United States every year. Democrats want more of that because they fight against anyone that wants less of that. That's how you know. Ignore their words. They're lying. Whatever they're telling you, they're lying. But their deeds reveal what their wishes are. They want more illegal aliens, more illegal alien gang members from Venezuela and elsewhere, tens of thousands of illegal alien Chinese from communist China. They're all going to sleep with Democrat congressmen like Fang Fang and recruit them into Chinese intelligence. Aren't they amazing? Senator Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese spy on her staff in her office in San Francisco for about 20 years. Eric Swalwell, Democrat House member, had a long-term sexual affair with Fang Fang, a Chinese intelligence agent sent to the United States to recruit Democrats using the old honeypot method. They're not on our side. Democrat mayor in Chicago, Illinois, where they have a murder rate higher than Baghdad. It's called Chirakistan. And in Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he's going to fight against enforcing immigration law. He's going to fight. Now, what he's doing, he's engaged in an open conspiracy to break the law of the United States of America by backing, supporting, sponsoring, and protecting people that do break the law, illegal aliens, including drug traffickers, human traffickers, murderers, rapists, gang members. Brandon Johnson is there to protect them, and then it gets worse. Then he says, and the Trump administration, which is a threat to illegal alien gang members, human traffickers, drug traffickers, rapists, and murderers, the Trump administration is a threat to those people. And then he says, oh, yeah, and black people and Hispanics and Asians. And he's such a racist, the only race he leaves out is white people.
This is a city that will remain a welcoming city. We're going to stand up. We're going to protect undocumented individuals.
Sanctuary city, a sanctuary city, because that's we're going to protect undocumented individuals. So you're protecting criminals, people that break our laws, and then come here and break more laws. So you are a criminal because you are trafficking in illegal aliens. He is a literal human trafficker of illegal aliens, and it's called illegal aliens. See, it's illegal immigration is illegal. And he's involved in an open conspiracy to support, protect, and defend people that have no legal right to be here. Then it gets better.
The president-elect, former President Trump, his threat is not just towards new arrivals, undocumented families. His threats are also against black families. We're going to stand up. We're going to protect undocumented individuals. We're going to protect black folks, brown folks, Asian folks. The city of Chicago will be better, stronger, and safer despite who's in the White House.
As long as you think better, safer, and brighter means more murders, more shooting, more gang activity. The gangs in Chicago are having to line up to fight the Venezuelan gangs, and he's making it better. New arrivals, he calls illegal aliens. It's a euphemism. New arrivals. And they're all families, like the Manson family. You know, amazing stuff. Yeah, black and brown and Asian. But what about white people, you racist pig? You're a grotesque racist pig. That's because, you know, you're a racist. And I'm against racists. You are a racist. I'm against you because you're a racist. Aren't you amazing? But what happened? We were talking about illegal aliens, and suddenly Trump is a threat to black and brown and Asian people, but not to white people. That would be racist. He left out Native Americans. What a racist to leave out Native Americans. Amazing. Democrats, the party of the KKK, lynching, the Confederacy, nothing good, really. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier has finally arrived. It builds on the incredible success of the previous generation model of the Eden Pure Thunderstorm, which earned thousands of five-star reviews on Al Gore's Amazing Internet, quickly became a bestseller. The new Thunderstorm uses two technologies that studies have shown help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses in the air. Removes dust, pet dander, smoke, and more out of the air in your home or your office, and helps get rid of any odor just by the way. And no filters to replace again and again, which is really handy. You can hold one in your hand. They're only this big. They're not a big piece of furniture. The Thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. Orders from trash cans, stinky socks, and shoes. Left-wing protesters, no match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Any smell will disappear in just a few seconds when the Thunderstorm is on. Right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. Put one in your basement, in your kitchen for your mother-in-law's cooking, in your teenager's room. Come on, your kitchen, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. You just go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code CHRIS3, CHRIS, and the number 3 to save $200 on 3 Eden Pure Thunderstorms. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is CHRIS3. Yes, sir. Yeah, the Democrats, they're not on our side, let's say. All right, a lot more coming up. I can't get to all these sound bites, but I'm going to see what I can do. And your calls.
His threat is not just towards new arrivals. We're going to protect black folks, brown folks, Asian folks.
Now, President Trump just met in the Oval Office, meeting right now, the Oval Office, but TV cameras were in there for a brief period of time. And there was a quick exchange. I want to share it with you. It's a total of 45 seconds in the Oval Office with Joseph Robinette Biden and Donald John Trump.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President,
thank you.
Donald, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough. And it's, in many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
That's it now. Yell at everybody. Get them all out of here yelling and chanting because, they want to stand around. They got a bunch of cackling lunatics, and there was a handshake, and it's a bizarre Oval Office that Joe Biden has. I've noticed that over the fireplace, he's got a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president ever, who was shot in the head and killed by a Democrat assassin. And then he has 2 bronze busts in the room. One of Martin Luther King, who was shot in the head and killed by a Democrat Party presidential campaign volunteer. And then a bust of Bobby Kennedy's head, who was shot in the head and killed by Sirhan Sirhan. It's an interesting collection. Our news media. Newsbreak.com. They cover the news like no one else. Got a picture of President Trump, and the headline is, "Voters elected Hitler because they liked his fascist promise. Trump's reelection repeats that history." You guys should stop killing 1 million babies a year and crusading to wipe Israel off the map from the river to the sea and threatening Jewish students on college campuses and attacking Jewish people in the streets of Chicago and New York, and get back to me about that Hitler Nazi fascist thing. Because I'd like to point out again, you people have no sense of irony whatsoever. You really don't. You don't know history. Your bumper sticker brains. And let me get back to some more audio here, because you got the Pramila Jayapals of the world and Mayor Brandon Johnson, who are they're part of the resistance, right? They're like the underground resistance. They're the Nazis fighting against sanity, and they're against the rule of law. They're against national sovereignty. They're in favor of Venezuelan gangs being in your daughter's classroom and shower room, at least if they're transgender, then they are. Because turns out the entire Democratic Party is transgender. If you're a Democrat, call in and tell me how you transitioned from one gender to another, because every Democrat's a tranny at this point. Can you say tranny? Is that okay? I can. especially if you're like an auto repair shop. Dropping tranny ain't what it used to be. All right, let's go to the incoming border czar. You know how many czars the Obama administration had? I couldn't even count them. There are at least a dozen czars for various topics, the weather and water and all kinds of ridiculous things, czars. And then when Kamala was made the border czar, and she failed catastrophically, assuming that you were supposed to fix the border and make it better. I mean, it was fixed when they came to Washington, Kamala and Joe Biden. It was pretty well fixed, but then they broke it. Boy, did they break it good. Tom Homan, a career border law enforcement man, and now the border czar, and he's kind of no nonsense. I was talking to my friends in Chicago on WLS about this morning, and I said, they should put signs, giant billboard signs of Tom Homan's face up along the border. Say, this is the guy that's waiting for you. This is Tom Homan. He's the border czar. Welcome to America. I think, with him growling at them, that'd be good. A lot of them would turn around and go back to whatever beep hole they're fleeing. Tom Homan on the great job that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done with our open border policies and all the gang members and various traffickers and everything.
Last time I looked, we had over 700,000 convicted illegal alien criminals running the streets of this nation. So we got to target them first. So either help me or get the hell out of the way, but you're not going to stop me.
All right. And these Democrats, like the mayor of Chicago, and he was actually responding to the mayor of Chicago there, Brandon Johnson, who calls illegal aliens new arrivals. There are new arrivals. Let's move them into your house and your daughter's house. What do you think? Brandon Johnson, it's going to remain a sanctuary city. Well, since you got crime under control and everything's going so well in Chicago now. Hey, winter's coming. I think the people from Venezuela are going to love winter in Chicago. Amazing stuff. Now, Paul Perez is one of the chieftains of the Border Patrol Council, and he was live on the television.
Morale is through the roof. We received hundreds of calls, texts, emails, just saying how happy the agents are. There's a lot of agents that had originally said that they would retire if President Trump did not win, and now those same agents are saying they're going to hold back on their retirement because they want to serve under this administration again, because they know exactly how it was during this first administration. They know this one's going to be even better.
Even better, getting better all the time. It's getting better all the time. Amazing stuff. So the Border Patrol, morale is skyrocketing, never been higher. People that were going to quit and retire have decided they're going to stay on because now they're going to be allowed to do their job, which our borders are. Kamala Harris wouldn't allow. And Joe Biden doesn't know that we have borders. He doesn't know what our country is called. He's been brain dead for years, and we've been lied to by a filthy, corrupt news media and Democrat Party, but I repeat myself, amazing stuff. And Joe Biden, who called Donald Trump a threat to our democracy again and again, and all of his minions, calling him a fascist and Hitler and a Nazi, and he's going to destroy the world and the country. Joe Biden's shaking hands with him, saying, congratulations, welcome back to the White House. Because he was lying the whole time. And if you're a 20-year-old voter and this was your first presidential election, I'm here to help you become aware of the fact that these people are lying to you all the time. And again, Joe Biden says, welcome back and congratulations to the guy that he said was a threat to our democracy just hours ago, all right, days ago. Now, it's been 8 days since Election Day. Today is Wednesday. Yesterday was 1 week since Election Day. And they were just frothing until the polls closed on Election Day with the threat to democracy and all of this madness. Man, oh, man. And now, hey, congratulations. Welcome back. I'm sorry, welcoming back Hitler with a warm handshake? Is that, or maybe you were just lying? And the correct answer is, of course, they were just lying. Isn't that amazing? Boy, I am telling you. You know, we've got this Pete Hegseth thing. The Pete Hegseth thing is President Trump naming Pete Hegseth, who served in the Minnesota Army National Guard, did deploy, unlike Tim Walz, to Iraq and to Afghanistan, was awarded 2 Bronze Star medals, and earned his combat infantryman badge. And I've met soldiers who have been very heavily decorated. They say, but my proudest is my CIB, the combat infantryman's badge, and that, you know, you've served in combat, a shooting war. And Pete Hegseth also served at Guantanamo Bay as a guardsman. And remember, the Democrats tried to sell us on Command Sergeant Major. He wasn't a Command Sergeant Major, and his time serving in combat, he didn't serve time in combat. But they claimed that he did because they lied to us about everything. And Joe Biden just welcomed the fascist threat to our democracy in the White House and said congratulations to him and shook his hand with a big smile. How do you square that? How do you deconflict that? Amazing stuff. And now the media, they're all joining in because they're an engorged appendage on the body politic of the Democrat Party. And CNN is not a news organization. It's a front group for the Democrat Party. But they've got an angry bunch of people who are talking about Pete Hegseth being named to be the Secretary of Defense. And he's a very unusual pick, I will certainly grant, and unexpected. And that may mean that he turns out to be, you know, a great Secretary of Defense. Our current Secretary of Defense, no great shakes, even though he's a retired 4-star general in the Army. But here's CNN reporter Elena Treen talking about President Trump's pick as Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary.
Many people inside Donald Trump's orbit were surprised by this pick. He didn't emerge really as a leading candidate for the role until Monday. When I talked to him about why Pete Hegseth, why a former or a Fox News host now to be former Fox News host, they said that honestly, Donald Trump, over the past several years, he has a good relationship with him. He thought he was smart. He was likable. One source told me that Donald Trump thinks he has the quote unquote the look.
So somebody said he's got the look. So the news media's quote, he's got the look. He's got the look. He's got the look. Well, he looks like an anchorman kind of guy, you know. And then they had this left-wing radical woman, a Democrat Party operative by the name of Karen Finney on the TV. And she is, she's just a hater. She just hates everyone. Karen Finney on CNN.
Donald Trump was looking for someone who would just follow orders, who will say, when the president says, I want you to use troops on American soil against American people, he wants somebody who's not going to question that.
Now, their delusions, their mental illness, Karen Finney needs mental help. She is a longtime Democrat hack, a fraud. She is a number of expletives deleted that I'll just leave out of, but just a Democrat political operative. And they invent these fantasies about Russian collusion and about masks, surgical masks working and vaccines keeping you from getting and they invent all of these. I mean, how many? There are new Trump fantasies they've made up. And this one is, oh, yeah, you got Pete Hegseth. He's going to be Secretary of Defense. Trump is going to order the Secretary of Defense to use U.S. troops against American citizens, and he'll just follow orders. Well, first of all, I mean, where to even begin on that mental illness? I recall this city being occupied by Joe Biden's troops that he called up, and there were lots and lots of them all over the streets of Washington, D.C., and it's illegal for American troops to follow illegal orders, but never mind that. And it's just this paranoid, delusional. They live in fear of things that they fabricate in their own minds. And some other left-winger says, oh, yeah, he said, and he never said anything of the kind, he's going to use U.S. troops against American citizens, and Pete Hegseth will just follow orders, which is a Nazi reference because Karen Finney dresses like a Nazi, a sexy Nazi at home, and uses a riding crop on herself while she pays men to come over and... Now, none of that's true, of course, but that I know of. It might be, but I can't attest to that. But I could just make that up and then say it 1,000 times like their boy Gurgle and pretend it's true. But they make these things up. He's going to use U.S. troops against U.S. citizens. Where did that come from? What rectum did you remove that from? Did you pull that out of Karen Finney? And can you please reinsert it? Because, honestly, man, oh, man. So a Democrat congressman named Adam Smith was on the television, and he was doing a little back and forth with a reporter and asked about Pete Hegseth as the nominee for Secretary of Defense.
I confess I did not know who Pete Hegseth was until about 20 minutes ago.
Never saw
He does
Fox,
not seem
Fox
to have
News.
much of a detailed background in DOD policy. To the extent he's worked on any of that stuff, it has been on veterans policy, not on DOD issues. So the lack of experience is concerning.
The lack of experience, your lack of experience is concerning. You're in the House of Representatives. He's not a policy wonk. We need a policy wonk. He's a decorated combat vet. How about that, Adam Smith?
I have not heard what his plans are, so we will see what his plans are. But it was surprising, and it is concerning just given that lack of experience. The Pentagon, biggest bureaucracy in the world. It's a hard thing to run. So I think it's going to be a challenge.
It's going to be a challenge. They're going to oppose. They're going to do everything they can to oppose. Well, I knew you were going to make Tampon Tim Walz the Vice President of the United States, and he lied about his time in actually the Minnesota National Guard, which is where Pete Hegseth comes from. But Pete Hegseth did go to Iraq, did go to Afghanistan. He was in 2 fighting wars, and he went to Gitmo, too. And I'll give him that. And he has written a book on warriors, and he has been an advocate for and founded an organization supporting troops. And what did Tim Walz ever do again?
I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yes, sir. All right, let's grab a phone call, Michael. Let's go to, what? There's Jason. Let's go to Jason calling from Kensington, Maryland. Jason, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, g'day, Chris. How you going, mate?
Very well, of course.
Haven't spoken since the big win, but my big thing is I was going to sort of tag along with you one day and go and check out that Scream at the Sky event. It'd be pretty cool, I think.
I think we need more Scream at the Sky events. The Democrats have not screamed at the sky in far too long. They've already organized. They've got a big march planned for January 18th in Washington, and now they've got a big march scheduled for January 20th for Inauguration Day, and the radical left-wing D.C. people and the Biden people are giving them permits to mass tens of thousands of communists on the Mall in Washington on Inauguration Day.
That'd be great. I think David Attenborough should do one of those BBC special wildlife reports from it. It'd be great. Sort of every 4 years this rare phenomenon sort of occurs, and that'd be a great event for him to sort of do a documentary on. I can't. I mean, it's been a great couple of weeks, but I mean, like I said, I'm just so glad that Mr. Trump persisted through all the years of all the persecutions, and you guys also helped out. Everybody sort of contributed to the big win, and hopefully common sense sort of prevails for the next few years.
We can hope, we can pray, and we can fight for what is right and what is true. And I hope to be coming in every day for the next 4 years, and at least 5 days a week, and telling the truth and talking about the things that we need to talk about. Jason, you are a great American and a great artist too. You know that Jason is also a great artist. You probably wouldn't know that, but he is very talented artist, and he is Australian. You might have detected by the accent, but he's on Team America. Are you on Team America?
Sure are, mate. I tell you what, there's no other place I'd rather be right now. I said it's like I said, I came from a fairly good upbringing, good country, but I tell you what, it's got its limitations versus what we have here, and only people who have sort of come from the outside can sort of understand that. It's a great place to be.
Yes, it is. Jason from Australia, now on Team America. What a country! I love this place. You can't move to France and become French. You can't move to Japan and become Japanese, but you can move to the United States and become American. We are the coolest place in the world. You're welcome, world.
I've become friends with school shooters.
I thought you were going to come back with Holiday in Cambodia by the Dead Kennedys. But no, we got this. The National Review magazine and the New York Times is reporting it too. A CIA official has been charged with leaking classified documents about Israel's planned airstrikes on Iran. And the CIA official has been charged with leaking classified U.S. documents about Israel's potential plan to strike Iran in response to the Islamic Republic's missile attack on the Jewish state last month. You'll be shocked to learn that Asif Rahman, the CIA employee in question, worked overseas for the clandestine agency, was indicted last week in federal court in Virginia on 2 counts of willful retention and transmission of national defense information. He violated the Espionage Act, of course, and now he's under arrest. It's great. He's got top secret security clearance. And federal authorities arrested Rahman on Tuesday in Cambodia. In Cambodia? What was he doing in Cambodia? Well, he was on holiday, because holiday in Cambodia. I wonder if he's related to Sirhan, since it was the Dead Kennedys, the band The Dead Kennedys, who I saw playing in San Francisco many years ago at the Democratic Convention there. And the Dead Kennedys were playing outside the convention. And they played Holiday in Cambodia. What's your other favorite Dead Kennedy song? Huh? Jeff? I think, maybe one of the other really popular songs was Stealing People's Mail. Stealing People's Mail, the Dead Kennedys. Holiday in Cambodia was a big hit, and Stealing People's Mail. But shocked to learn that Asif Rahman at the CIA was stealing secrets and putting them out there about Israel defending themselves against jihadis. And for some reason, Asif Rahman decided to take issue with that. I don't understand. I can't understand that at all. No, sir. You're still not going to play Holiday in Cambodia, are you? We'll be back with more tomorrow.